Om. Om. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahi Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Swami, we are continuing Vahini Swadhyaya. Swami, as part of Upanishad Vahini, we are discussing about Kathopanishad. Swami, please be with us. Please speak through us. Please listen through us. Our humble salutations at your lotus feet, Swami. Saira. Sairam, brothers and sisters. We'll go ahead with the presentation. Please let me know if you are able to see my presentation. Yes. Sairam. Sairam, we will have a discussion about we had started the discussion about the Kathopanishad. So what we have started is with with the previous. Just we will have a review, and then we will start the today's session. So the previous session we discussed about very clearly about the introduction. What are all there are two chapters, 119 verses are there. In each chapter, 2 vallis are there and then 17 verses. And chapter 2, again 2 vallis, 48 verses. And the overall Kathopanishad belongs to basically the internal, is part of the Krishna Yajurveda. And since it is related to the Katha Shaka, hence it is called Kathopanishad. The Upanishad teaches in many ways the fundamental subjects of Shreya Marga and the Omkara Iti, and also the Brahma Vidya, or call it as Atma Vidya. So the auspicious activities of Shreyas and also the Brahman we discussed. And we discussed about the story. The Yajnashrava is doing the sacrifice, that is Vishwajit Yajna. During the Vishwajit Yajna, the Yajnashrava is Yajnashrava started, basically after the Yajna, he started giving the basically he's sacrificing all his assets. At the same time, he's also giving the barren cows, which is not useful to the persons who are taking the offerings, receiving the offerings. Knowing that the son, his son Nachiketa, called Nachiketa, saw that, and then he said, Father, whatever he saw that whatever the mistakes are happening, so he want to control that. So he went there and he asked the father, saying that, Father, you want me to offer to anybody? Like that, he keep asking the same question twice, thrice, many times. So the frustrated father, he told, like, I'm giving you to the god of death. Knowing that, again Nachiketa walked towards the abode of Yama. And he waited for 3 nights for the Yama Dharmaraj to see the Yama Dharmaraj. As Yama Dharmaraj was not there in his abode, he came after the 3 days, knowing and after seeing this little boy, Nachiketa, who has a very enlightened soul, and he understood that this boy is an enlightened soul. He has a clear understanding about what is good, what he is in the Shreya Marga. This is what he by understanding that Yamadharmaraj will ask, the Samavarti will give him 3 boons. So for the 3 nights, he will give the 3 boons because he's elevated soul. He don't want as a atithi, he don't want to disappoint the guest and want to ensure that guest is satisfied. So that's makes Yama to give the boons. Then first boon, the Nachiketa asks about the welfare of his parents, particularly his father, and he asks his father to be very much received when he go back, his father to be received with a happy mindset, and also his father supposed to continue his Shreya Marga, whatever the work which he's happening, whatever the activities he's currently doing need to be done in a uh, basically in a ethicals and also the best practices he has to follow. So that is what his first boon and Yamadharmaraj has given. We discussed this first boon part also. And we also discussed about the second boon, which we are, so Nachiketa will ask the secret of the absence of absence in heaven of hunger, thirst, and fear of death. Then Yamadharmaraj gives the clarity the about the heaven. So we discussed what is heaven, how the heaven, basically the heaven is more like a is like a god in the heaven. It cannot manifest any karma because it is in the blissful state. It is in an atmic state. So when a soul is in a blissful state and it is in Satchita Ananda, it won't do any kind of karma because any karma creates a bondage. So it is in that form, basically in the Satchit Ananda, in the blissful state, that's what is heaven. So when there is such kind of blissful state and all the soul is in the blissful state, there is no point of hunger, there is no point of fear of death, and the other basically, this thirst and all, any related manual, any worldly things related to worldly things is not there in the heaven. This is what uh, Yamadharmaraja explains to Nachiketa. And by looking at the questions, the way how he's doing the self-inquiry, Yamadharmaraja gives very much uh, by looking at his verbalized nature, uh, Yamadharmaraja is very happy, and then he taught the Nachiketa Yagna or Nachiketa Agni, Nachiketa Yagna process. Basically, the yagna he taught he will teach the yagna through which he can reach the heaven, and the yagna has to be done for 3 times. Whoever do the yagna 3 times in his life, then he will definitely will reach the heaven. This process will be now totally will explain to Nachiketa. Learning that Nachiketa, and again he will repeat the same process how to do that yagna with all that particular process. Whatever Yamadharmaraja has been told, he will tell to the Yamadharmaraja again the same process, the same manner. By looking at his Shraddha, Yamadharmaraja will be very happy. He was very happy, and then he will say, from now onwards, whoever do that particular yagna to reach heaven, that yagna, whoever do that yagna has been called as Nachiketa Yagna, looking at his Shraddha. So this is how we discussed about uh, in the first session. The session 2, we will go ahead and discuss about the third boon and the introspection on the Atma. So this is the session. We will start the session with Shanti Mantra. Om Sham No Mitra Sham Varunaha Sham No Bhavatvaryama Sham Na Indro Bruhaspatihi Sham No Vishnurukrama Namaste Brahmane Namaste Vayo त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. May the Lord protect us. May He makes us enjoy our sessions together. May we both strive together. May our studies be bright and brilliant. May there be no misunderstanding between us. Let there be peace outside and within. Om, peace, peace, peace. So the first two, the story has started with beautiful yagna, and then we have went through the first and second bone, and we also discussed about the interaction between the Yamadharmaraja and Nachiketa. Let's start with the third boon. This is the most crucial, and then where we need to discuss about both Vachyartha and Gudhartha. Let us go ahead and then see if how in this session we can cover a couple of points, and then we will conclude the session in the we will conclude the Kathopanishad in the next session. This session we will go ahead couple of mantras, and then what Swami has told about Kathopanishad, we will go in the introspection. Sairam. Third boon. Nachiketa said, this is Swami's words basically. Nachiketa said, Master, man is mortal, but some say that death is not the end, that there is an entity called Atma that survives the body and the senses. Others argue that there is no such entity. Now that I have the chance, I wish to know about the Atma from you. What a beautiful question, basically. And Nachiketa asking the person who actually know the whole overall the process, the who has been deployed for that, basically, who has been taken that role to understand the Atmanubhava of every soul, or I can say every jiva. So he asked the same person, also called as Samavarti. So Nachiketa asks very clear question. There is an entity called Atma that survives the body and the senses. It's a beautiful Swami given in a beautiful manner. The entity called Atma that survives the body and the senses. Others argue that there is no such entity. Okay, that part we will take it up. I wish to know about the Atma. This statement called Atma that survives the body and the service and the senses. This covers in the chapter 1, first Valli, verse 20, mantra 20, mantra 21, and mantra 22. Nachiketa said, there is a doubt as per this shloka, as per the mantra, I can say. There is a doubt about a man when he is dead. Some say that he exists, others that he does not. This I should like to know, taught by you. This is the third of my boon. And then Yama replies saying that on this subject, even the gods formerly had their doubts. The gods formerly had their doubts. It is not easy to understand. The nature of Atma is settled. It is not easy to understand. The nature of the Atman is subtle. Choose another boon, O Nachiketa. Do not press me. Release me from that boon. As we know, the understanding of Atma do the Atma, what I can say, understanding the Atma Tattva, realizing the Atma is required enormous sadhana, and the sadhaka has to go through various, various way, basically the various, uh, process basically during his sadhana to understand and to realize, himself basically. So there is a lot of process is required, which where Yamadharmaraja is very much aware of all these things, and he is very he much has a clarity. And even he said it's very important. The gods formerly had their doubts on this subject. So, which means even the celestials to get the Kaivalya, merge with Swami, to get the Kaivalya, still they also still looking for a kind that Atmaika Anubhava and merging with Swami, getting the Kaivalya. So there is a very much clarity is giving, as though you are going in under the humanity point of view, and then you are acquiring the divinity, even though you become a formless and become the celestial, but still realizing your soul and then merging with the supreme soul is not that easy. Still they also need to realize the atma and then ensure that that merging is happening. So please do not press me. So it's a clear understanding given by the Lord Yama to Nachiketa. So this is all these things are there. So you ask something else. This is the beautiful Swami 22nd May 1982 discourse. Uh, See, he chosen a teacher. Choosing a teacher is very important, the guru, because the gurus are the pathfinders. Swami very clearly told in the 22nd May 1982, teachers are the pathfinders. They prepare the royal road to a bright future. He must help the pupil unfold and manifest the skills and qualities inherent in him and encourage him to rise the fullest height he is capable. Such a beautifully Swami explained what he is expecting from the gurus. Whoever took the role of guru, the expectation from the guru is very clear to the Lord. The Lord is expecting that guru must help the pupil unfold and manifest the skills and qualities inherent in him and encourage him to rise the fullest height and he is capable. If we look into our own life, we are all here in this forum and then we are discussing about it because the Supreme Lord has taken the role of Guru, and he himself is realized that this particular soul required, the jiva is required this kind of learning. So he is putting us into that particular path where we can take out our qualities, understand our skills, and make sure that our sadhana is going towards him to rise the fullest height. Uh, so it is the Lord who is inside, who is inside of us, is understanding the quest and then creating the forum and understanding the skill set and encouraging that skill set, encouraging and the qualities, and then making us to do such kind of sadhana with so much of love. So Swami gives uh, this particular, I'm just particular discourse, Swami gives very much clarity about the teacher, or you call it as guru, basically. So the divine is the core in both teacher and pupil. So that's also very firmly Swami, explained. So when a student is asking the guru, the guru are supposed to be the pathfinders, finder. So Swami explained this. Uh, Nachiketa asking, and Yama is telling this, and then Swami is talking how the teacher is supposed to be. Now, Nachiketa found a right teacher who is actually the Yamadharmaraj, the Yamadharmaraj who's taking care of all the Atmic Prayana and the Jiva, how it is said. So he clearly understands what is that. So he asks the right guru, right teacher. So he again asks, "Oh, death, even the gods have their doubts about this subject, and you have declared that to be not easy to understand. But another teacher like you cannot be found, and surely no other boon is comparable to this. I will not get such kind of guru again, and I can't see any alternative other than you. I want that boon. I want that boon to be fulfilled. Please teach me about what is Atma that survives the body and these senses. This is the question. Let's what Swami has told. Prior to that, Yama trying to convince Nachiketa in many ways. He want to give so many worldly things, so much of higher positions in the world itself. He want to give so many different kind of gifts which nobody can get in their lifetime. So he want to give such kind of gifts of the world in the worldly manner, and he offers so many things, but Nachiketa is firm about his third boon. So now I'll come to the shloka what Swami has told in Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatin antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yomam sameyukta tamomataha. Of all yogis, those whose minds are always absorbed in me and who engage in devotion to me with great faith, them I consider to be the highest of all. So it's a very clear statement. Of all yogis, whoever is doing or you call it as sadhakas, of all yoginam, whoever is integrated, trying to integrate with him, integrating with him, those whose minds are always absorbed in me and who engage in devotion to me with great faith, them I consider to be highest of all. Saira. So it's a clear objective Swami has given for every sadhakas, making sure that you absorbed in me, making sure that with great faith, engage in devotion with me. Then I will take you. I will consider you. So we'll see who, and then I'll just go ahead and then see what Swami has told in various discourses. See the same thing. So the question asked by Lord Sri Ramachandra himself to the sage Vasishtha during his discussions in the Yoga Vasistam. We call it as Yoga Vasistam or Vasishtha Gita, or somebody will call Vasishtha Ramayanam also, but it's more popularly known as Yoga Vasishtam. So in the world, during that time, Lord Sri Ramachandra himself will ask as a student to the Guru, or sage Vasishta, Divine Master, is there any way to avoid death? And the same problem drove Gautama Buddha, as we are all aware of. He will see the crying woman. He will see the body, basically the dead body, and after that he will get the vairagya, and then he will go to the path of renunciation, and he will get come out of, give up all traces of attachment. So these are all the two examples, and at the same time, Swami very clearly is telling that those who have the inner urge to achieve the higher wisdom that confers liberation have. Therefore, to reflect upon the investigate the phenomenon of death. Those who have inner urge to achieve the higher wisdom is confers that confers the liberation. That's very clearly is telling that we should have the clear urge to achieve the higher wisdom. What is the higher wisdom? We will discuss in the next slides, basically. So the understand and to the investigate the phenomenon of death. It's very clear that we should have a higher inner urge to achieve the higher wisdom. This statement again we have to take about death should arouse no fear. It should not be regarded as inauspicious. Such a profound statement Swami is giving. That's basically. So it is part of the birth and life, basically the birth cycle, right? So birth and death cycle, basically. So the death is not an inauspicious. That should arouse no fear. It should not give any kind of fear. So Swami very clearly, you should not run away from the problem. Imagine that death happens only to others and that it will not happen to you. This is again this particular question. You should not run away from the problem. Imagine that imagining that death happens only to others, that it will not happen to you. See, this is one of the Yaksha Prashnas which is asked to the Dharmaraja, and he gives the same. What is the basically when the question will come from Yaksha, saying that what is the basically marvel. So he will tell very clearly. See, everyone will think that death will not happen to him. Imagining that death happens only to others, it will not happen to him. Neither should you postpone reflection on death, judging that they are inappropriate now and profitless, for inquiring into death is really inquiring into one's own reality. The truth must be recognized. So, he has told this in the Satisai Vahini very clearly, chapter 13, the Avatar as Guru. So the same kind of discussion happened between Sri Ramachandra. Same kind of self-inquiry has basically initiated in the mind of Gautama Buddha, and then the renunciation and forced him to give up all the trace of attachment. And again, that made the man, the teacher, the Lord has become the teacher, and then he made him again to understand higher wisdom. But in this statement, it is very clear that should arouse no fear. It should not be regarded as inauspicious. There are many couple of experiences what I had related to this death. Always Swami, his that is his grace, Sairam. I will take a little pause for 1 minute. Sorry for the disturbance, Sairam. Saira, I'm very sorry. There is people are waiting at Vahini Sudhamrita session. So I just switched on the bridge and then came back. My apologies for the. So I'll go ahead with uh, the session basically. Sorry, in your so the Lord Sri Ramachandra and the Lord Gautama Buddha, and one more examples basically to understand the Atmic. So Swami very clearly explained in the Avatar as Guru chapter where sage Yagnavalka. So both the Yagnavalka want deciding to become a monk. He want to take sannyasa dharma. He want to take the sannyasa ashrama. So he explains the same thing to his both wives. He has two wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi. We're all aware of it. So he also tell the same thing regarding, he will tell that I want to become a monk. I want to take the sannyasa dharma. I want to go to the sannyasa, I want to take the sannyasa ashrama. So I will give all my assets, whatever the assets that I have right now, the physical assets of these worldly assets, I will divide both of them to you, and then make sure that you will be happily, you can live happily with those assets until until and you can live happily. That's what he will say, and then he will ask very clearly, riches make life pleasant and delightful by the chances they give you to live happily. Then the wise, the wizard, the Maitreyi, the elder wife Maitreyi, she protested and said, she'll say, Lord, why have you decided to give them up and become a monk? First of all, if you feel that it is all valuable, you can live life happily, then why you want to give that? How can the riches that you refuse to keep give us peace and happiness? Whatever you are not getting, peace and happiness, how can by giving us, how can we will keep us? How come these things will keep us, give us peace and happiness? And she very clearly tells they are basically polluted since they are not within the realm of the Atma. They are not they're not within the realm of the Atma. So the person who are the sadhaka who is doing his enormous sadhana, to do the sadhana, enormous sadhana, to understand the and realizing the Atma and Atma Tattva, they won't care about these worldly things. Basically, I mean, they don't care. And what I'm saying is very clearly, it is not in the path of the Atma Tattva, understanding the Atma Tattva. You give respect to them at the same time because it is part of the creation, but they are not within the realm of the Atma. So Yagnavalka will be silence, and he stood with his head bent before her. This is what Swami has very clearly told. Meaning, when you have a hunger, basically, when you have a hunger to understand your hunger to get the highest, state of, and want to get, merge with Swami. So it's very clear that sadhaka should have that earnest hungry to understand his own, his self, his, basically his self, that is his Atma. As part of that, Bhantar Maharaj and Swami has told about what is the death aspect of also. So various, just as I shared my experience of last week Thursday experience when I, no, that's a Friday evening, Friday morning experience. When I went to that home, it was very great. Vibhuti smell is there. So much of divinity is there in that home, though it is a in the same home the death has happened just a 11 to 12 days back. But I went almost something as 13th or 14th day of that home. It was such a divinity is there. Same thing happened some in 2023 also. Uh, when I went to one of our South Bangalore or home also, the same thing. So much of blissful experience while supporting them in the while taking to the crematorium, while the while the while this while the activity is happening, while I'm coming back and then getting ready for the job. All this so much of blissful experience. Never felt such kind of fear or something. Nothing has come into the mind. Nothing has came into the heart. Completely in the presence of Swami. Which if I take back those moments, maybe it is not my sadhan. I don't know what is that actually, but Swami has given such kind of blissful experience. The death is not, a fear factor. Um, it is more. It is not as It is cannot be treated as inauspicious. It is inauspicious. It's a very beautiful, uh, experience which I had in 2023 and 2020. Say, yeah, in last week, whatever. Yeah, Sairam. So let's go to the Sairam. So let's go to the Swami what has told in about Atman. So it's very clearly in the verse 23. See, this statement is very, very phenomenal statement. I feel like in the Kathopanishad, uh, particularly this line, this particular mantra is very, 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 very auspicious. What I felt. I will read out the meaning of that particular mantra. This Atman cannot be attained by the study of the Vedas or by intelligence or by much hearing of sacred books. It is attained by him alone whom it chooses. It is very, uh, it is attained by him alone whom it chooses. To such a one, Atman reveals its own form. So the Atman itself will understand that I am coming to a place, I'm coming to a state where I've took the body. This body is eligible to understand and to go through the Atman, the Jivatma is basically came into a state where it can understand what is Atma. So it chooses, basically it chooses to understand or reveal its own form. So this slow mantra is very, 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 very attached. Actually, to be frank, we can look into this particular mantra. So Swami very clearly tells about not being aware of the mantra is the source of darkness, the thickest of ignorance. This mantra, Atman cannot be attained by the study of the Vedas or by intelligence or by much hearing of sacred books. It is attained by him alone whom it chooses. So if we people will say that the fruit, the one which is the what I can say from the tree, that particular fruit has come merged, but it is not ripe. When it riped, then only that it can understand that fruit is in that state. Basically, it is ripe. then only it will give the, and it will select that particular one, and it will select on its own, and then it will reveal its own form. Likewise, the man. Beautiful mantra, verse 23 in the second valli of first chapter. So Swami is telling, not being aware of the Atma is the source of darkness, this thickest ignorance. The thought of God, the contemplation of God, the grace of God. This thought of God, contemplation of God, the grace of God, these alone can confer the purity we need. The love of God, evident as grace, is the greatest achievement of a man. Swami clearly gives the, how he run through in our life. If we couldn't have been aware of the source, the Atma, in the sense we are Atma Swarupas or Divya Atma Swarupas, then we could have not attached to this particular form. We could have not done this particular of, we might not be in that particular, the path of, light, whatever that we are doing currently now. The path of seva, the path of bhakti, whatever the devotional activity is happening. So Swami is very clearly telling that the thought of God, the contemplation of God, the grace of God, these alone can confer the purity we need. The love of God, evident as grace, is the greatest achievement of man. As long as we are experiencing His grace, as long as we are going ahead in His path, as long as we are absorbing Him in every activity, in every karma, or you call it as in every action, we are very much blissful. And that is what Swami is very clearly telling, that that is the greatest achievement of a man. So how to get that, Swami? This we discussed in various vahinis, basically. The self-inquiry. The self-inquiry is the very clear path. So the Atma chooses it to know that person. It itself reveals its own forms, meaning that sadhana will automatically starts when it. So we took so many times the example of Sage Bharadwaja, who has done a self-inquiry, enormous self-inquiry, where such a blissful life it is, like he got a highest grace from Swami himself, that he came as a Lord Sri Ramachandra to his ashrama, and then he took his gotra. So the self-inquiry is the main part where Swami tells the three steps to self-realization, namely self-confidence, self-satisfaction, and self-sacrifice. You should develop self-confidence, and with that you will get self-satisfaction. Once you acquire self-satisfaction, you will be able to show self-sacrifice. And this will result in self-realization. See, very interrelated one, Swami explains. Sorry. So we are just on the first talk only about how to realize what is Atma. So for what the sadhana, how the person is have to go through it. So the self-realization you cannot obtain easily unless you have self-confidence, self-satisfaction, and self-sacrifice. So this is all, if we look into our own life, these are all things came up in, we need not to take major examples from others also. Yes, Sage Bharadwaja has done a great self-inquiry. But if we look up our life itself. Very clearly, he has given the self-confidence. Whether you are wealthy or not, he has given the satisfaction. It is not either wealthy means there is no count, right? Basically, for the man who whatever the earnings it is. So it's very clear whether you have, this is nowhere related to the worldly things. Do you have self-satisfaction? That is main important. So the confidence he has given because you are with him. Because I am with him very clearly, he is in me and I am with him very clearly. That confidence will give, Swami will take care of me. Swami, no, I'm going along with Swami's path, no, in the Swami's path. That confidence turned out as a self-satisfaction. What I have, what I don't have is nowhere. What kind of worldly assets I have, what worldly assets I don't have, that takes completely, it will not at all touch us. It will give only the blissful state where I am with Swami, is that gives the confidence, that gives the satisfaction. Those who are not in that path, those who, though he is a worldly point of view, though he's a very rich man, but still we see him, uh, no, basically, of course, we don't differentiate, we don't downgrade that person, but we see basically, but at the same time, we show, we can think that we are very much satisfied personalities. With that satisfaction only, that sacrifice is coming up. Because we know that the sacrifice, whatever we are doing, is the worldly assets, which is not at all connected to the Lord. It is related to the world. Whatever the sacrifice we are doing for our own self is the Arshad Varga, which is diverting. That is also great thing, which is again will divert to the world. So that is also the sacrifice is happening. So the self-confidence you will get when you are with Swami, when you are with your Lord. Here we are, that gives the satisfaction, that gives the sacrifice. Swami tells very clear that will result in self-realization. When these three go together, there will be a fullness, Purnatva. So the only thing is we have to maintain that and ensure that we have to take care of going ahead with that. Saying that, that's a readiness what for the understanding of Atma. Saying that, Swami takes to the next discussion. Yama said, well, my dear boy, there are two distinct types of experience are just called spiritually elevating Shreyas and worldly pleasant Preyas. Both affect the individual. One leads to salvation, the other to imprisonment. Spiritual wisdom reveals the spiritually elevating. Ignorance makes you slide into worldly pleasures. Vidya and avidya, Shreyas and Preyas. We discussed this in various Vahinis and also a couple of Upanishads too. We have touched in a different form. But just want to, it's a quick reminder again. Shreyas meaning overcoming the demands of the senses and achieving the spiritual bliss, which is represented by the term Satchit Ananda. As it's very clear definition. Overcoming the demands of the senses and achieving the spiritual bliss, which is represented by the term Satchit Ananda, being awareness bliss, meaning very clearly that in the path of truth, Shreyas means you are going in the path of truth, you are going to the path of Paramatma, that is called as Shreyas. Preyas is very clear. Those who seeks preyas is concerned with the body related activities, body related gifts, body related desires, worldly related desires. So it's very clear. So all actions aimed at Atmic bliss are related to Shreyas. be in the Shreyas Marga. So Swami Yamadharmaraja very clearly say there are two types of people who's Shreyas, who's the sadhakas, who is not connecting to, not much attached to the world, but attached more to the Lord. So that's part of the Shreyas and Preyas. And Vidya, Avidya, we discussed very enormously in the Vidya Vahini, but again, we just uh, recall this basically. The Lord's nature is known as knowledge, that is Vidya. And it is derived, our lower form is known as ignorance. Understanding about Paramatma, going through the Paramatma, doing the sadhana to understand the, to realize the Atmic nature, Atma Tattva, going through in that particular path is Vidya. Whatever the other dimension, whatever we are seeing related to the world is avidya. So Swami very clearly says that in the Upanishads, this truth, Swami also very clear, it is clearly explains that, since you are going in the Satya Marga, that is the reason, that is the why the Lord is referred to as truth, Satya and Brahman. Swami also explains in the open, saying that in the 5th March 1995 discourse, very clearly, in the Upanishads, this truth which is associated with unmanifested power of illusion, Maya Shakti, is called full Purna, that is Ada. The truth associated with the manifest power of illusion is called the full, that is Idam. This is the secret of the Upanishads mantra, Purnamada Purnamidam. So Maya Shakti is basically, so Swami is very clearly telling, associated with the unmanifested power of illusion. Associated with manifested power of illusion. So the truth, which is so very clearly Swami is giving the clarity on this. Purnamada Purnamidam. Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate, that we discussed in the previous Purnamada Purnamidam will come in the Ishavasya Upanishad. Yes, in the next Vahini, next Upanishad. Yeah. So Swami is telling very clearly about this. Vidya and Avidya, Swami is giving the comparison. So it's clear, understanding now basically what we are going ahead. It's very clearly Yamadharmaraj is telling that the path that you are going to choose and then understanding this Atmic nature is he's just making readiness of Nachiketa to what you are going to understand about Atma. To understand the Atma, he is making ready of making the readiness, basically the preparation activities basically has done. Sairam, I never thought that it will take this much time. Okay. We will go ahead in the next session, Sairam. So, we will go to the second Valli, again verse 20. This is the Mahavakya from Kathopanishad. Anoraniyam Mahato Mahiyam. We are very much aware that Swami utilized this particular, he used this particular line many times in many discourses. The Atma is capable of being known only after vast perseverance. One has to divert the mind from its natural habitat, the objective world, and keep it in unwavering equanimity. One can succeed in this solitary internal adventure and overcome the monsters of egotism and illusion. That victory alone can remove grief. in the way how Swami is very clearly telling that to understand the Atma Tattva, to understand the capability of Atma is capable of being known only after the vast perseverance. Only when we divert our mind from its natural habitat, that is objective world, from the world, and keep it unwaver from no divert the mind from the objective world and keep it in the unwavering equanimity. We will discuss we will discuss more in depth on this particular topic about Mahad Purusha Hiranyagarbha and the way how it has been explained in the Kathopanishad Swami with a examples in the next session. But for this particular, we will conclude at Aroraniyam Manatomahiyam, and then we will go ahead the overall discussion about Atma Tattva in the next session. So here Swami again is talking about very clearly. See, the sun god bestows his love on all in the form of light. If you do not have faith in the light of love, your life will be filled with darkness. The sun god is the only one, but he appears separately in different parts of the world. When the sun rises in America, it is the time of sunset in India. Same likewise the same, right? So it's likewise. When sun rises in India, it is the times of sunset in America. So the other part of the world, basically, right? But it is the same sun. So Swami clearly telling that this, how the sunlight is the same on this world, it is as same as why the sun god is Atmic nature. It is capable of being on, it is pervading across the universe. So to understand the, basically the Atma Tattva, there are more illustrations has been given by Swami about in the Kathopanishad. So we will discuss in the next session as it is, as we are running out of time. It is 8 o'clock now. So we will go ahead from Anoraniyan Mahatomahiyam, and then we will go ahead with the what is Omkara Upasana, and then we will go ahead with the how the Atma Tattva has been explained. Likewise, we will go ahead with the discussions of Atma Tattva again in different illustrations, and also with the senses also how it has been compared in Kathopanishad in the next session. And there is the important slokas and also the illustrations by Swami. Sairam. Before conclusion, basically, just want to have a kind of one more input about the Gudhartha. So it's very clearly we have understanding that the conscience, the consciousness, and the super consciousness. These three are in one person only. If I think I am the Yajnashravas, or as Mahendra Bhashyam, I'm doing the Vishwajit Yajna. With my conscience, I'm doing that Yajna, and then I understood that through my consciousness, I'm understood that I'm doing mistakes. So I realized myself, and then I am understanding my sadhana through my super consciousness. I am understanding my, my tattva basically. Then I will correct myself and I will go ahead with the sadhana, and then I can reach the highest goal. So if I look into the Kathopanishad as a self, I am the Yajnashrava, I am the Nachiketa, and I am the Yamadharmaraja, because everything is manifested in me only. It is very clear that when I am doing one activity with so much of love, if I am doing an activity like Narayana Seva, if I am doing if I understood that I am committing to a mistake, which I am not supposed to do as part of that Seva, then immediately my consciousness, definitely it will remind me, my Atma Sakshi, Manas Sakshi will remind me. That is my Nachketa. And then if I mobilize that and ensure that I am going through my super consciousness, I getting the grace from the super consciousness, and then I'm correcting myself. I continue my yajna, that is my Narayan Seva. Then I am in my Swami's path, in that Satya Marga. What I understood from Kathopanishad is this is what I understood from my Kathopanishad. Ensure that you are completely absorbed Swami in you. Ensure that you are in the Swami's path. Have a great integration with Swami, continuous integration with Swami, and start mobilizing, start listening to your Manas Sakshi, and start correcting yourself, and then go in that particular path. Then you can understand, you can realize yourself, you can understand your own soul, or nothing but you can understand what you are, who am I, and that I can, you can understand, you can realize that basically. So the realizing of Atma is everything is in me only. So that's what I understood from Kathopanishad. We will continue the next session about how what is all the typical all our understandings, how we can go in what are all the other basically inputs given by Swami in Kathopanishad in various mantras. We'll continue in the next session. Sai Ram. Thank you very much for joining the today's session, Kathopanishad. Thanks, Swami. Sai Ram, over to the discussion. Shall we go ahead with in a reversible order? Sairam, Virupaksha sir, any questions or any clarification or any inputs for this session, sir?
Sairam, sir. Very blissful session, sir. I enjoyed hearing from you all the concepts.
Sairam.
Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam. Sairam, Vasanti Balaji, sir. Yeah, you have any inputs or any questions? Sairam. Thank you, Virupaksha sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sairam, Sister Sudharao Aliki, any questions or any inputs, please?
No, I don't have, sir. Just listening. That's all.
Sairam, Sairam.
Thank you.
Sairam. Thank you, sister. Sairam. Sairam, Sarala, sister. Any questions from your end?
No questions, Brother Mahendra. Actually, I enjoyed this session, and self-realization has 3 steps. I was contemplating on that, and it's a good one. And this na yamatma pravachanena labhyo namedhaya, that was it is also very important. Maybe we need more contemplation on this. Thanks for enlightening on that thing. Thank you so much.
That come under the Omkara Upasana. Swami is, I am Atma Labhyana is there, and we will discuss in the next session, sisters. Sai Ram. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sai Ram. Sai Ram Ramchandra sir. Any inputs from your end, sir?
Salam Mahendra, you have covered everything, so nothing to add. But one thing, how to come across and how to overcome the fear of the death. So fear of the death. So the thing is, why it comes? Because it comes by thinking that your deha is yours. So on that basis, Yajnavalkya says to Maitreyi, since he has shown that picture and then told about that, I want to tell. That is 3 mantras he will tell. That is, Etatvai paramam tapaha yadvaitas tapate paramam haiva lokam jayati ya evam veda. See, if you get the disease, you think that your prarabdha earlier karma is taking away all your sins. So if too much of pain you will get, you have to be happy that that much of sins it is taking. If you have that in your mind, then you will get ananda. Number 2, you think that your body is taken after your death to the place where it is to be burnt. So it means it will take into forest. I myself didn't go during my life when I have lived. I have not gone to a forest and I have not done any tapas. At least my body has gone. Have the satisfaction. You told no, have the self-satisfaction. So that you must have it. At least with that, you will be released from the fear of death. Number 3, your body will be burned in the forest. You think that I have not done any homas, any yajnas, anything like that. At least my body has gone to Agni. So I am happy with that. So when you make this happy body to be used for the things, then you will get the happiness. With that, since you are detached from that body, you will go for mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means and interest in learning about Atma, other things not be there. That is the thing which Yajnavalkya says about it. I think you have covered everything. I need not tell you further. Jai Sri Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sir. Thank you, sir. Sai Ram Krishnamurthy Ramchandra, sir.
Sai Ram, Mahendra.
Sir, your
It's a
full
good
name is there, so I
continuation.
could not able to catch up suddenly. Sai Ram, thank you, sir.
No, it was a good continuation to your last session, which you have brought in, and you also brought in your own experiences related to what you discussed last session and this session. It was very interesting. But I think I'll hold on to my comments, wait for your final session next week so that we get a total broad perspective of the whole concept what we are discussing. So that'll give a broader picture and the finer picture of everything that you have been talking about. And then maybe we can discuss further on that, if that's okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sai Ram. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram, Srinivas HK, sir. Sorry, I missed out during the discussion.
No problem, sir. Last week I could not attend due to some personal reasons. Anyway, I enjoyed your session, sir, today, and especially you brought out this. We aspire for liberation. Our free desires are nothing but liberation. And 3 steps to self-realization is self-confidence, self-satisfaction, and self-sacrifice. These 3 goes together. are called, Purnatva and all. You have brought out very nicely, sir. Really, I enjoyed 1 hour this session, sir. Really wonderful, sir. Really wonderful. Sairam. I don't have.
Sairam. Thank you, sir. Sairam, sir.
Sairam, Sairam, sir.
Yeah. Sairam, Sister Kavita, you have any questions or inputs, please?
Sairam, brother. I was really happy to join this session. Actually, this is first time that I'm joining here. And so my question is, I just missed few of the talk on self-satisfaction, self-sacrifice, and self-realization, brother. So I could understand. I always thought self-confidence comes from the way you speak, the way you think, or how the people take you, whatever perception you have on yourself. But this thing, Swami, is with me. So I don't know. Sometime back, I have lost this sentence because all through my life, from the childhood, I always thought this Swami is with me unknowingly, because whenever I had any good things or bad things happening, I always used to remember this. But maybe because of my intelligence, I can say. So this sentence somehow I might have lost in few of my few days back, maybe. So listening to you, I really appreciate that I got this back, brother. Self-confidence is realizing that Swami is with me and he will take care of us is the biggest learning for me today. And I would appreciate if you can take a little 2 to 3 minutes, if you can explain on the other three factors, self-satisfaction and self-sacrifice leads to self-realization. If you can, brother.
I may not able to explain in other forms, but I will share my experiences, sister. The self-confidence, basically, when you are in Shreya Marga, whatever, meaning Shreya Marga means basically when you are in the path of truth, when you are when we are with Swami, we are the path of truth. Matlab, meaning it's very clearly we are with the Swami. So always, no, if such kind of absorbing of, we have absorbed into Swami, like, or the other way, what it's like was saying that we have, completely, we have taken Swami into us. Like, even if I go through a normal activity, any worldly activity, any watching any kind of a video or watching kind of even a movie song also, any worldly things also, or if we are looking into any divine activity also, devotional activity also, in both ways, or I'm seeing him in whatever this is. If any sloka is coming up, any mantra, people are doing the chanting about, whether it could be uh, a different form, basically say a Narasimha mantra is going on, or it is a Venkateshwara stotra is going on, or any other religion things is going on, whatever it is, that nada that takes me to the Swami form, Swami's thoughts only. Whether it is whatever that activity it is. And I contemplate, basically, this is what happening. I am saying basically, it is not, it is nothing that, this is what happening basically. So the contemplation will go completely with the Swami. So when we are in that kind of a path, when we are with that, so you will have so much of confidence. The life, whatever that you are leading, the ocean activities, whatever that is, you will have that confidence. So the other person, whoever it is, the worldly point of view, social, whatever the social status he has, whatever it is there, we don't see that. Basically, we see make completely we are with Swami. So when we are truth, we definitely we will talk to him. And we don't have the fear of nothing. So There is no fear complex. So much of confidence will be there. Self-confidence will be there. Because we are with Swami. Anything is, we are going ahead with Swami. So that will build. It is not related to any worldly activity. It is more related to my inner, say, for example, any inner journey is with Swami completely, with that form, with completely with him. So the complete confidence will be there. The confidence related to your inner journey. Obviously, that will reflect in your whatever the worldly things what we are going to when we are facing the worldly things. And when that confidence, that kind of observing of going ahead with the Swami, the satisfaction also will be there. Yes, Swami given me today's food. We need not to remind that basically. These are all will come. And if we look into our current life also, whatever it has come, yes, His prasada only. Whatever the life is going on, whatever things, it's prasada. And the moment if people around whoever you are attached to it, whatever the relations you have, it could be a wife, could be a son, could be a daughter, could be anybody, your mother and father. If they are in different form, and if you feel that it is not, but still you get satisfaction saying that, very clearly get satisfaction saying that, oh, this is what Swami is given to them. Oh, he's very much taken into higher state. I need to take some more inputs from them. So that kind of, you will have satisfaction very clearly, but you will be going without, attachment. Same thing, the sacrifice. The worldly point of view, whatever it is, you will not get much attachment to these worldly things basically, because obviously, which is necessary to you when it is not happening, then if it is required, then your path of in the path of truth, you might be discussing with Swami, but at the same time you will not have an attachment, and then you will have a detachment only. The sacrifice, worldly things definitely will not have much attachment to the worldly things, and you are also going to do the sacrifice of your own what I can say is ignorance. Basically, whatever the ignorance what we have, that will be keep going on. Whatever that it is attached to the jiva, which is related to the Arishad Varga, but that will be keep going on. That, and when you are in path of that those are all the attachments will go off, and you will have your selfless love with Swami, and then it will keep going on. So that's what my understanding. But it is not even point 0.00001%, whatever it is, but when it is look into the actual truth, what I'm thinking of is that self-confidence, self-satisfaction, self-sacrifice. Never ever get any kind of a question on Swami's activities, because he knows us, he is there with us, and then he is the doer. Any
Thank you, brother.
any inputs, any questions, sister, on this? Sairam.
No, brother. Thank you so much.
Sairam. Thank you, sister. Sairam Gaud, sir.
Sairam Mahendra. You started the session today by saying that death should not arouse tears. And the points of self-confidence, self-satisfaction, sacrifice, they are very nicely explained by Ramchandra sir. Sir, many, many thanks to you, making it so simple. Sairam.
Sairam. Sairam. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ramchandra sir. Sairam, sister Jayam. Have any inputs, please? Sairam.
Self-confidence basically is confidence in the higher self, that is God. And I felt even if we don't understand much about the Atman, but understand that we all have to go someday, we can easily forgive others. We get the tendency of not holding grudges or get too angry, because this makes us realize that that's all we are. Each one of us have to go someday. And I feel this will give a human being more peace with himself. So I felt just understanding death can also be very helpful, even if one is not able to understand about the concept of Atma. So I thought I'll share this. Thank you, Sarah.
Sairam, Sairam. Thank you, sister. Sairam. Sairam, Sister Bharati. Any questions?
No, no, sir,
Inputs,
no, sir.
please.
Fine. No, sir.
Sairam.
Saira.
Sairam. Sairam Basavaraj, sir.
Sairam, sir. So one input is that on the self-sacrifice. So you are clearly mentioning what is Shreyo Marga. If any inputs coming to the mind from the senses, apart from what is defined in Shreyo Marga, sacrificing that itself is the self-sacrificer. That's what my input, sir. That's what my thinking, so, sir.
Sairam. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sairam. Sairam, thank you. Thank you, Basavaraj, sir. Sairam Sridhar, sir. It's please let us know, sir. The inputs from your end.
Sairam. The third boon asked by Nachiketa, a very inquiring mind. He realizes death is not the end. And what is death all about? In that context, he wanted to learn what is Atma. Is it an entity? It's a question which you put very nicely. Even gods have had these doubts. It's not within your comprehension. Please give it up. Don't put pressure on me. Is the kind of dissuasion which Yama tries. But Nachiketa is so determined that it moves a person like Yama. The perseverance in that context, you came up with choosing a guru. And so fortunate we are that we had and have Swami as our guru. The divinity is the core, both for the guru as well as the student. So Nachiketa, having found a very nice teacher, he didn't want to give up. You won't get another teacher of this kind. And he wanted that boon to know what Atma is all about. You quoted Bhagavad Gita shloka, then he also spoke about Sri Rama and Vasishta, Yoga Vasishta as an illustration, Buddha and his Vairagya. And you quoted Swami saying that death should not arouse fear. Death should not be considered as inauspicious. You should not run away from the thought and concept and contemplation of death. And it is not that death happens only to others. It could happen to you too, anytime. So why postpone about it? And during the journey of this life, reflect about death and inquire what is beyond death. That is a trigger for self-inquiry. As was it put, even celestial beings find it difficult to understand and find the process of realization. You also quoted Yaksha Prashna, Dharmaraja's illustration. Yajnavalkya answering his two wives trying to divide his property and saying that it's going to give you happiness and bliss. And the retorting question from Katyayani and Maitreyi that, come on, if that is the case, why are you giving up this bliss and going away? It's an eye-opener. So worldly, that's worldly versus spiritual is where the distinction comes from. You had, Mahindra, said that you had your own personal experiences, which you quoted in the last session about death in some friend's place, and you had gone there. There was vibhuti smell, and also Homa in a house in South Bangalore, blissful experience. Now, this blissful experience and death, actually, in a normal worldly sense, do not go together. Bliss is something, it's not to be compared with pleasure and worldly appeasement of desires and things like that. A bliss is equanimity, not being influenced by the dvanda, the dvaita, and that word which you have used, I don't know in what context you meant, but yes, it gives you a feeling that beyond this body, there is a divine, omnipresent, omniscient Swami available to us to connect. If that is giving bliss, yes, I understand. One of the most brilliant takeaway for us today is Atma cannot, Swami's words, Atma cannot be learnt by through Vedas, through your intellect, and through sacred books. In fact, it is other way about. Atma chooses to reveal itself to a person. This is the message I got. And if you are not aware of the Atma, that is darkness, that is ignorance, and you will never get to, even if Atma wants to reveal itself to you, you do not have the purity to receive that Atmic uh, contemplation and the elevation. So, to improve the purity, Swami had said that thought, contemplation of God, His grace, what he called as love, all this together brings purity in your mind. And only when you have the purity do you see Atma revealing itself. Putting it differently, Atma is there. It can reveal to anybody and everybody. That is what is called the moksha or liberation. But do we have the equipment to see that? And that comes from purity. That is what you had discussed. And to develop that purity, you had talked about self-confidence, self-satisfaction, and self-sacrifice. This Jaya sister saying that self-confidence is the higher self, belief in the higher self, believing in Swami and his teachings. Yes, because constantly you are being saying to be with Swami. Many of us may not clearly understand when you say being in Swami, being with Swami. It simply means not to go after his form and name, but to go after the message of his life. And his message gets included in every action of your life. That is the self, what Jaya sister also has been talking about, self-confidence. And satisfaction, satisfaction, in other words, it could be called tripti, that fullness, and it comes when you are full with the divine assurance that Swami is with me, come what may. I will face all challenges of life, whether I succeed or fail, does not matter. Everything is offering to him, and whatever I get is his prasada, is what we discussed in the previous sessions also. And that is what is all about satisfaction. Sacrifice is once you identify with the source, the object becomes irrelevant. You will let go. The worldly is let go. You let go the worldly only when you are focused on the source. That is the Atma, that is Swami, that is conscience, that is super conscious, call by whatever name. We are all held by that superior force. And therefore, letting go, that is also death. Every moment we die to the situation and a new situation is born. Every time we have given up our childhood to become youth. We have given up our youth to become elder, and then to old age, sickness, death. Every stage is death. So it is only a transformation from one physicality to another, but the person in all the stages being the same. That is the self we are talking about, and therefore not attaching. The attachment is what creates the bondage. Not being attached does not mean giving up everything in life. It is just that you do not get embodied to the thoughts and desires, but let them go. So when you said perfect accord between thought, word, and deed, all this becomes truth. And all this together becomes fullness, is what Swami has said. In that context, again, Shreyas and Prayas was beautifully discussed. Well, it's past 8:30. I do not want to take more time. But then we are looking forward to Anoraniyam, Mahato Mahiyam discussion, hopefully in the next session. Thank you, Mahendra. We are really blessed for Swami giving us an opportunity for all of us to come together and contemplate together on this lovely Swadhyaya. Sai Ram. Thank you, Swami.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Thank you, Sridhar. Thank you, Swami. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Vahini Swadhyaya session. We will continue the session 3 in the next Saturday. We will try to cover the Kathopanishad in the next Saturday. I was not aware that I will only 4 slides will be more. Sorry, sir, for not covering much in this. We'll go ahead in the next session with all these slokas which we have planned to conclude. If at all Swami's allow, we will go ahead and conclude next session. Otherwise, we will continue another session. Sai Ram. Sai Ram, we will conclude the current today's session with the Asatoma and the 3 Samastaloka. Jaikar to Swami. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaah Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय. साई राम.
Sai Ram.
साई राम.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram,
Jai
sir.
Mahindra.
साई राम सर. थैंक यू.
Sai Ram.
साई राम.
Sai Ram, sir.
साई राम. साई राम.